Welcome, my name is Devin with Lost in the Real. I'm starting a new segment on this channel called Narrative in Video Games, where I discuss when video games have a story as powerful and immersive as any movie you've seen, but it takes it a step further by putting you in the shoes of the main character. When you can make a decision in a frantic moment that results in life or death, how could you not help but suspend your disbelief? Today I will be talking about The Last of Us 2. Welcome to my narrative that dives deep into 2020's The Last of Us 2, developed by Naughty Dog. I would like to preface this video by explaining that there will be heavy spoilers in this video. My goal is not to review this game, but to try to convince you, at least those who haven't played a game since Super Mario on the original Nintendo, that developers have taken advantage of their writers in their atmosphere and storytelling as much, if not more, than they have in the advancements in hardware towards graphics and sound. The spoilers begin now. You've been warned. The Last of Us is about our world after a toxic spore called cordyceps have made humans into zombies. A little under 3 decades later is where our story takes place. Joel, who is your father figure, is killed in front of your eyes, quite brutally in fact, and Ellie, our main character, gets clues as to who they were and chases them down with her girlfriend Dina. If you haven't played the first game, The Last of Us 2 does a good job at introducing you to Ellie and Joel's somewhat volatile relationship. One moment you'll witness Joel teaching a 15-year-old Ellie how to play the guitar, and another interactive cutscene will take you to when Ellie learns of how Joel doomed society by saving Ellie's life, who is the only known person to be immune to the cordyceps. Let's talk about immersion for a moment. You can be very immersed in a movie, but with a good story in a video game, the barrier of disbelief gets that much more transparent. Whether you're exploring and finding a guitar to play in the middle of a rundown moss-covered building to reflect on the loss of your father figure and share your story with your girlfriend, Dina, or you're taking a tense, stealthy approach through an infested warehouse where one wrong move can bring 8 nightmare creatures down on your head. The game is constantly reminding you that you are no longer a part of the safety and comfort of the reality your physical body resides in. Beautiful atmospheric effects like creaking boards and rain against leaves also helps that process along. Another point for immersion that Naughty Dog does well is their death scenes. When you inevitably make a wrong move, you're going to remember it. Their death scenes are quick and gruesome, but they happen so quickly and infrequently that you never get desensitized to them. So every time you see them, it's memorable. Whether you get too close to a clicker, a blind mushroom-headed mutation that makes a clicking sound for echolocation that will rip the stringy red meat out of your neck with its teeth, or a new enemy that appears in this video game that explodes into an acid mist that melts your skin in seconds, you're going to remember these, and it adds another level of stress when trying to avoid these very real obstacles. Death scenes, graphics, and sound are all great ways to immerse, but my argument for video game narratives would be kind of weak with the story to back it up. A theme that I think is really powerful and you'll keep running into is the consequences of your actions, and specifically revenge. Ellie takes someone who she loves with her to get revenge on the girl Abigail, or Abby, who killed Joel in front of your eyes. You constantly put Dina in danger as you murder your way through those who accompanied Abby in killing Joel. You kill multiple dogs on the way, which is completely unforgivable, and one of your friends who risked his life to come save you gets murdered, and another one of your friends gets blinded for life because of your quest for revenge, which you ultimately fail at. Abby gets to you before you get to her, and she spares you because you have recently discovered that Dina, your girlfriend, is pregnant with her ex-boyfriend's child, the friend who gets shot in the head for coming to save you. So she makes a plea to Abby to not kill them, which she doesn't. She spares you. This is when the story flips. For the next 8 hours or so, you play as Abby and discover that... This is where the story flips. You play as Abby for the next 8 hours and discover that she killed Joel because of a pretty heinous action of his, with the result being the death of her father. But all of those actions you felt were so righteous when you were playing as Ellie, you now get to see the effects of. They take time to build a relationship between Abby and Ellie's victims, and you feel the twang of sadness and guilt when Abby discovers them. One of them being a dog that you get to play fetch with, pet, and who even accompanies you on most of your playthrough as Abby. You discover that while not all of them were good, most of them were actually really moral people who were just trying to survive and make their loved ones happy. Ellie loses everything in her revenge. Her girlfriend Dina and her daughter. Even though they were Ellie's actions, I would also like to make a side note that it's not entirely Ellie's fault. There's pretty strong implications through reading her diaries and just how she acts, that she's suffering from PTSD. And, without access to years of therapy, that is not really something that you can just let go of. She even loses her pinky finger and her ring finger, on her left hand, not her right hand, as Abby had bitten them off in a fight. Remember that guitar scene I told you about? Well, that guitar scene kind of happens in a couple different settings throughout the playthrough as Ellie. Well, you can't play the guitar anymore without those fingers. At least the way she learned how to play it from Joel. She played it with left hand on the notes. So she loses her ability to play, but it's a really great scene because she tries to play anyway, and throughout the game when you're playing it's very beautiful, but it's all like clonk, 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 because she can't get the notes with her two fingers. So not only does she lose everything in her current life that's happening, she also lost the only deep connection that she had with Joel, who she was trying to avenge. So it backfires tremendously. It's truly a work of art when the main character survives their ordeal, more or less none the worse for wear, and yet you still feel as though it was such a bitter ending. This game has gotten a lot of hate, and for the most part I think it's pretty undeserved. I truly believe that Naughty Dog has an eye for storytelling. Anyways, this is Devin with Lost in the Reel. Perhaps I convinced you to give another chance to video games. Perhaps not. Perhaps you're mad that I gave so much spoilers. Either way, I'd love to hear your opinions on the matter. Please like, comment, and subscribe. It helps a growing channel like ours so much more than you can know for just clicking a couple buttons. Thank you. Bye-bye.